Uh, I would like to start with to mention two uh, incidents. One of them occurred and attracted the attention at the global level. The other incident, and both these incidents occurred by chance on October 2nd, 2025. So I want to mention it in the beginning. The first thing was uh, a fleet of ships. They started from Spain, and they were activists of 40 countries, and they carried humanitarian aid, relief, food, medicine for the people of Gaza. They went through uh, many countries, and there were countries, and what I observed that uh, pe- uh, people around the world, even if their governments are not so proactively supporting, the people are supporting. You must have seen that there are lakhs and lakhs of people who are protesting for Gaza against the Zionist operation by Israel. So, when they reached Italy, the trade union, they called for a hartal. Complete strike was there in Italy. So they were against Italy's supporting Israel. So these things happened. So of course, Israel foiled their attempt to reach Gaza, but I think they were quite successful to uh, raise a consciousness throughout the world in support of Palestine. And, and of course, I would like to mention Gandhiji, who said that Palestine is for the Arabs as much England is for the Englishmen. Clearly, he said he had no confusion about this, and he had mentioned this. But so, and the form of action which they took, they didn't carry any arms, and they were going, and they faced a very brutal, fascist, Zionist military force, armed forces. When they intercepted, uh, you have heard of Thunberg, that young girl who talks about climate change. She was one of them, of that group. And she was beaten. Let me clearly tell you, that has not come much in the media. A Turkish journalist, he captured those things. He created a video out of that. She was attacked because she was a prominent figure from the group, and they bet her, they made her kiss the Israeli flag so that others are demoralized. But they didn't get demoralized. But uh, actually, it happened. They were cruelly stopped, not so that they do not reach the thing. But I think when hypothetically Gandhi was asked that what will be the alternative if there is a foreign aggression against your country. So Gandhi gave the reply Gandhi gave was something very similar to this flotilla experiment, this whole activity. He said that lakhs and lakhs of people, they will go and stand on the border. Let them kill, but we will be ready to be killed, but we will not carry arms. So this was some idea which he has expressed. It is there in, you can get the reference many places. Gandhi's this thing. So I think this incident which happened on his birthday, 2025, that was an incident which, of course, I think it was um a Gandhian this thing, uh, action. So that's the first incident. Another incident which also occurred on October 2nd that I would like to mention. In 1960, and of course, before telling you about that, I would like to mention that uh, property relation, we think that it's decided by political ideology mostly. What kind of relation with with property is there? I will give you examples. Uh, Vinobaji, while he thought that thinking about the land problem of our country, you, as you know, that there are many more landless people, and since the agriculture is not a profitable organization, that proportion of landless people who are associated with agriculture, that is continuously increasing. So Vinoba wanted to solve this land problem, and he started this Bhudan movement, that he asked for voluntarily surrender some land for landless people. So this was at the international level, it was something very new kind of thing. And but let me tell you clearly, and Aziz Saab can tell you more about it because he is associated with Sarvodaya, that more land was collected by Vinoba Bhave than the government land reform measures. There were some land reforms measures adopted by government of India through several governments, and the total land acquired through land reforms, through sealing and such measures, Vinobaji's voluntary Bhudan was much larger than that. So I am mentioning about this because the other incidents was related to this. In 1960, uh, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji was Minister of Railways, and he actually, Vinoba said that we will not take. There was a railway land in Varanasi, and uh, the disciples of Vinoba, they paid a nominal charge so that it's not free. Okay, so officially they bought a big piece of land. Vinoba selected that for his national headquarters for the Bhudan movement. And in this regime, Kidna, I think uh, almost 2 years have passed by, and the central government, with a total conspiracy without any legal uh, sanction, they have raised all the buildings of that campus to earth. So, 2nd of October 2025, some about 100 people from 17 states, they have started a Padyatra. So that's the second incident. Maybe it's not globally important, but at least for India, it's very important because uh, this property relations thing, our ruling party in the center, their concept about this thing is like this. This is an example. I think that demolition of Babri Masjid was also similar. And they are admirers of Israel, and same kind of logic works there. Babri Masjid said that in the case of Babri Masjid, they said that um, uh, Muslims or Babar uh, had raised the temple. Of course, the Supreme Court judgment said that we did not have any such evidence. And the then Chief Justice has now, in his interview, the then Chief Justice Chandrachud says something else now. Okay, but the main thing is that how can we interact with an incident which has occurred in past? How long? How much? How old can be an incident about which we can interact? And what will happen if we interact on the basis of some old exploitation or, say, a matter of injustice even? I will raise some cases before you. Suppose there is a Dalit leader and he claims with historical evidence that women of our community were exploited by upper caste men. And he gives proof of that. And then if he adds this, then we should be given a right to exploit upper caste women. So if he raises such a demand, this would create a chaos in the society. I am just giving you an example, and this can very well happen. So, this logic is behind the existence, the establishment of Israel also. You must be knowing, most of you, that they said that 2000 years ago we were there. You, almost all of you must be knowing that the main thing when Israel was being established after World War, United Kingdom and the United States of America, they said that where will the Jews who were uh, victims of Hitler's exploitation, where will they go? So they created this thing that they should be, they can go to the Palestine, the land which was known as Palestine. So the same logic that we were there 2000 years ago. Of course, they can say that Jesus Christ was also born a Jew. Okay, so similar, but they give such a logic, and then they want to justify the, their injustice, and the problem still has not been solved. And we think that it should be solved. So, this kind of logic we cannot accept. I will give you another example. In tribal societies, you are allowed to take revenge for, if we have, suppose myself and father, we have a difference of opinion or regarding some dispute. And so for 3 generations, we are allowed to take revenge for that. I am talking about some tribal communities. But after 3 generations, in tribal communities also, they are not allowed to take revenge about that old thing. So that is a lesson we should take from history, which even which the tribals also follow. But the logic, and let me tell you clearly, there is an organization, and you can which has a very paradoxical this thing idea. They are admired. I am talking about M.S. Golwalkar. He admired Hitler, Adolf Hitler, but at the same time he admired Israel also. Very strange thing. Thing है? If you go to if go to some, I think it's very strong in Kerala also. Even if they do not win any elections, while I was coming from your school, many places they were standing in Ganvesh, the uniform. RSS people, they had some program. So in their shakhas or their programs, you will find a book, uh, Sangharsharat Israel, struggling Israel. And that is in total admiration of Israel. And Golwalkar, in his book, he clearly admires Adolf Hitler also, that you should have an ideology like Hitler. The notion of nationalism which Hitler had, Golwalkar was quite attracted to that. So, uh, we think that we should be aware of this thing. And when Gandhiji talks about communal unity, it's not something very abstract. He says that uh, uh, political unity will not suffice. There should be a unity at the social level. That he makes it very clear. Uh, and my mother also used to tell, and that's Gandhiji has also quoted, uh, that during the British regime, in railway stations, they used to have different, there was Hindu water and Muslim water, Hindu chai and Muslim chai. Officially, they used to cry, Hindu chai, Hindu chai. So this was for not money, so that the community, the people, they do not mingle. On the station, they used to cry. And Gandhiji says that this was the most disgusting thing that I observed. And this was promoted by the British, that this kind of thing, otherwise it would not have happened. And such things are already happening in our country again. I can give you many examples. Like there was the past Sharadiya Navaratri. Okay, the Navaratri which is in Sharad Ritu, uh, which just passed just before Dashara. Okay, so in UP, non-vegetarian things are, you cannot buy egg, fish, meat during this period. And of course, it's a very big contradiction, because Bengalis who are worshippers of Durga, and they think Durga has come in a year, she comes during this Navratri. So they specially make fish and meat during the Navratri. You can ask any Bengali friend that this is totally opposite to what they are imposing, because they their Hinduism, it's something they want to impose uniformly, which is not possible, which is not there. I will give you another example. In different parts of country, we celebrate our New Year, and it's in different part at different dates of the calendar. Like Bengalis, they celebrate the New Year on 1st of Vaishak. Okay. Gujaratis, and one of the representative is sitting here. He is from Calicut. So they celebrate the New Year one day after Diwali. ठीक? So it's totally different. But RSS thinks that it should be celebrated throughout India on one day. That's not possible. People have been celebrating New Year at that different times. And there is a cultural unity also. ओणम होता है, मकर संक्रांति उसी समय होता है. बिहू इज ऑलमोस्ट द सेम टाइम, आसाम. ओके, सो वैशाखी पंजाब में, it's also on in the same period or maybe same date, because that Sankranti is dependent on solar this thing. Now, most of our festivals, the Hindu festivals, are on the lunar calendar. So the dates change every year if you compare it with Christian calendar. But Sankrantis are on the same date, 14th of January, Makar Sankranti, Vaishakhi, February, this thing. So that is not changed. But they want some such uniformity, and we think that it's not possible. Now, I would like to mention two more points, if I have time. Okay. Uh, ये एक मिनट. The first thing is, for the current situation of the planet, okay, that I would like to mention, and I think everybody is conscious about that. Our natural resources throughout the world, the minerals, the ores like bauxite, we make aluminium out of it. Iron ore, we make iron and steel from that. All these things, now the scientists or geologists who you must be having a department of geology also in maybe in Cochin University or somewhere. So worldwide they can easily give you estimate that how much coal do you have, the stock of coal inside the earth, how much is money it is. So that can be easily estimated, and they tell that coal at the present rate of consumption, you will end up coal in say 25 years. So those things are clearly this thing. And I think that Gandhi gave, so all these things, this rampant consumption, uh, this has been due to our modern industrialization or civilization. So he had a very clear mind and clear, he was a clear cut critique of this modern day industrialization, and he had the logic. So, and his one of his original books, Hind Swaraj, in that he explains it. Two major points: that this modern industrial civilization, on two count, uh, I will give you example. Uh, it has transgressed the barrier of time and distance. Like there is a famous saying by a Red Indian chief that your present civilization, that's eating up the share of our grandchildren. What we have, uh, can I express my point? So he says that Red Indian chief, and it's a very famous quotation, that this civilization, uh, we are consuming the things, the goods which were for our grandchildren. So they were very clear about it. So what does this mean? That you are transgressing the time barrier. Uh, what we had to consume in the present, we are already consuming the share of the future. Okay. So the time barrier, this can be understood from Hind Swaraj. And also the distance barrier. You know that foreign direct investment is there. Nowadays, FDI is there, and easily with internet, you can take back the investment from any country. And I want to briefly discuss about that. Which is the country which has largest investment in India? If anyone can tell, foreign direct investment. You know, it's a very small country called Mauritius. Mauritius has the maximum share. And what is the reason behind it? There was an agreement between Mauritius in Indira Gandhi's time that there will be no dual taxation. So you might have heard that during Yashwant Sinha's time, his daughter-in-law was also associated with one such shell company in Mauritius. So those companies, when they invest, and Mauritius is, let me repeat, number one country in list of foreign direct investment. So, and now one of our uh, favorite industrialists of the present government, Adani Sahab, his brother, that Hindenburg report clearly says that they also had shell companies in Mauritius. So same thing. That's why Mauritius, which is a small, very small country, their investment, which is propagated to be very desirable for our country, that's number one in investment. So if one fine morning, if they decide that we should withdraw our investment from India, so they can do that by a single click, since the whole system of the present capitalism, it's all, so the distance is also covered. So distance and time, the modern civilization. So this we take as a lesson that the modern day civilization or capitalism, it transgresses these two things, time and distance. Okay, so this point I wanted to raise, and in the last uh, I would like to say one more point and then finish. In democracy, most of us will say that the power comes from the highest elected body, parliament. Okay, the Lok Sabha or parliament or whatever this thing. Gandhi says that this is a totally wrong belief. That belief has come from a shallow study of British history. These are not my words. I can quote it from Gandhi. But I am trying to explain it in my words. So he says, the people, the masses, they choose or elect their representative for a small period, say 5 years. We elect the representatives only. But the main the parliament would mean nothing if the people are not there. So the main power is with the people, not the parliament. And Gandhi further elaborates that the power of civil disobedience, satyagraha, that power of the common man or the whole mass, that's the main power. Uh, uh, and so he expresses that, but of course he says that for the time being, parliament would be there, and he just before his death, he clearly tells that we should not allow reactionary candidates to succeed. And reactionary, exactly, in Kerala, I should not try to explain in the Marxist terms. Reactionary has um, something to do with reaction, but the reaction which prevents status quo to be changed, that is reactionary. Those who do not want the status quo to be changed, they are reactionary in really the Marxist terms. So Gandhi says, and he has used this word, that we should not allow such reactionary elements to get elected. Okay? And then again, it would be very surprising that Gandhi suggests to his party, which he says that it is in very bad shape, but we should not allow it to get finished. He is talking about Congress and says that they should, their till his death, he said that never Congress had more than say 2 crores of members. Their membership, Congress membership. So he says that forget that membership, and the whole electoral roll should be your membership. He is telling the congressman, and your words should be that the electoral roll, no fraud people are included, and those who have a rightful this thing, that vote chori thing which is going now, Gandhi has said 6 days before his murder. And I will quote that small portion, only few lines, and then finish. The Congress must do away with its special register of members at no time exceeding 1 crore, not even then easily identifiable. It had an unknown register of millions who could never be wanted. Its register should now be co-extensive with all the men and women of the voters' rolls in the country. ध्यान दीजिए. The Congress business should be to see that no fake name gets in and no legitimate name is left out. So, what is going on in Bihar now? A similar thing. On its own register, it will have a body of servants of the nation who would be workers doing the work allotted to them from time to time. So, this is 27th of January 1948. And a last thing I want to mention, there are many kinds of rumors which are propagated by those who are against Gandhi. Many kinds of rumors are there. But we have one easy thing to follow, which Gandhi writes in most of his original books. There is a small note to the readers. He said that you can find contradiction in my stand on many things, but please do not give importance to it. I suggest that you accept the thing which I have said later. And I will give you one example. In till 1920, he used to say that there should be no intercaste marriage. But after he had an interaction with Dr. Baba Sahab Ambedkar in 1930 in Yerwada jail, his stand changes. He says that I will attend only those marriages where one side is uh, caste Hindu and the other side is Dalit. Only those marriages I will attend. And I am giving you my father's experience. My father was son of his secretary, long-time secretary. Gandhi used to money, and he died in Gandhiji's lap in prison in 1942. So when my father was marrying, and he was marrying a woman, my mother is from Orissa, and my father was from Gujarat, and my mother's mother was from Bengal. So Gandhi said that I will give you passing mark. I will not give you distinction. And there is no question of my being present in your marriage, because you are like my family member. So if I have taken a stand, it should more strongly be followed in your case. So I give you Ashirwad, but there is no question of my attending that. So on the day of the marriage, they got a postcard of Ashirwad. He was alive, Gandhiji, but he did not attend. So this evolution, this change, the man who said that intercaste marriage should not be allowed, he took this stand so that the society becomes casteless. This Baba Sahab says that what the four things which Baba Sahab says, uh, in order to eradicate caste in India, uh, one is intercaste marriage. Okay, so in many such issues, Gandhi, and he has written it that and his autobiography is also, the title is My Experiments with Truth. So he says that those experiments were going on. So, and I have changed many times. So please follow this rule, that and the quotation which I gave was just 4 days prior to his murder. And we think that regarding his murder, that it was part of a struggle which was going on for 2000 years between liberal Hindus and fanatic Hindus. These two groups had different attitude towards man-woman relationship. They did not believe in man-woman equality. The fanatic group, they believed in caste system, that caste system should persist. And third thing, they uh, सहिष्णुता को क्या कहते हैं? सहिष्णुता is there in Malayalam? Okay. So regarding Sahishnutta also. And this is one of Gandhi's disciples' analysis, Ram Manohar Lohiya's analysis. He says, whenever in history the fanatics were strong, our society moved backward. And whenever the liberals were strong, the society moved forward. So in Satyagraha, Gandhi says, and this is a small booklet, I want to introduce it to constructive program. I give this booklet same importance as the Marxists give importance to Communist Manifesto. As the Dalit activists, they give importance to Baba Sahab's book on eradication of caste system in India. I think the same importance should be given to this book. And I inquired, and they said that it has been translated into Malayalam also. The basic thing is that there are two ways. Some people think that after the revolution occurs, then everything will improve. But Gandhi thinks that what the dream which we have of the society, that equitable society, that should be reflected in our action in our group. The group which is struggling for that goal, that should be reflected in that. If we think that women should have equal status, your organization should show that women have equal. If you think that the it's we are striving for a casteless society, then and if we are a political party, we should give tickets to those sections of the society, to women, and create a leadership from them, because uh, the leadership should come from uh, the sections who are oppressed. So, and if you go through the section on women, he says that the rules, the laws, the traditions, which were not made by women, which were made by men to exploit women, so women are forced to follow those things. And the satyagraha has it helped the Indian woman to come out of darkness. My mother was jailed at the age of 14, and she was there in Cuttack jail for almost 3 years. So, this was due to Gandhi. And she was not alone, thousands and thousands of women. So, just imagine, he came in 2015, 1915 from South Africa. So, in the beginning, he had uh, he went throughout India. He had a tour kind of thing, just to observe what kind of thing those who were in Tolstoy ashram in South Africa. He deposited them with Rabindranath Tagore in Shantiniketan, and he started doing this thing. The first public talk, was made in at the time of establishment of Banaras Hindu University. Banaras Hindu University, uh, Gandhiji was invited, and it was again a very revolutionary speech which he gave there. Vinoba was a student at that time. He was in Kashi to learn Sanskrit. So Vinobaji said that in Gandhiji's speech, I find the Kranti of Bengal and Shanti of Himalaya. You know Kranti and Shanti. This was Vinobaji's statement about this. And all those kings who donated to Malviji for establishment of Banaras Hindu University, Gandhiji described their ornaments, and he talked about the poverty of Indian people. So they got agitated. Even Dr. Annie Besant got agitated. And some of them walked out. But the people supported him. And that was the first public speech. And in 1917, he went to Champaran, had the first satyagraha in India in 1917. And what was the issue? Just remember, it was contract farming of indigo. Just remember 3 years ago when our farmers were uh, for a 13-month long dharna on the borders of Delhi. Just remember, one of the issue was again contract farming. So the same thing was there during Gandhi's regime. The first satyagraha, it was a farmers' movement, and he succeeded. Of course, one of the reason was that synthetic indigo started, manufacture of synthetic indigo also started. But he had a survey of that area, and that was the first struggle. Then Gandhi led farmer struggle in Bardoli, in which Sardar became Sardar. This name Sardar was given in Bardoli. He had a successful farmers movement in Kheda, and of course, first industrial strike in Ahmedabad of cotton workers, cotton mill workers, and with a unique form. They decided that we will not stop work during the strike. We will do extra work. And that also has been very well chronicled in a book named The Righteous Struggle, again by Mahadev Desai. The story of Bardoli is also written by him. And the Epic of Travancore, The temple, the Vaikam Satyagraha, this thing, is also written by him. It is also available on Internet Archive. You can freely download the Epic of Travancore. Sarojini Naidu suggested this name. It is Mahagatha, Mahagatha of Travancore, Epic of Travancore. So, anyone who is interested, you can download. And someone told me that it was at that time translated into Malayalam also. So, I think Gandhi is all the more relevant, all the to the present society, present day. And as you use the word disappearing, he can't be disappeared. So he's so relevant. So he is relevant everywhere. When Martin Luther King was practicing the civil rights movement in early 60s in America, they didn't have full voting right in America. They didn't have full, like after independence, when the constitution was implemented in India, we had full adult franchise. America did not have. The blacks, they had condition imposed upon the black Americans, the African Americans, that if you have this much property, if you are literate, then only you can vote. And they used to ask to read out American Constitution. So if you fail, you will not be getting your voting right. So these things went on till 1964. Martin Luther King Jr.'s movement. Women did not have right in England for a long time. But we had adult franchise for the whole population when our constitution was implemented. So we should be proud about that. And the danger which is on the constitution, we should be conscious about that also, that people who clearly profess that we do not have this constitution, we want something which was made by Manu Maharaj, Manu Smriti. So that about that, and I can. They proposed the whole concrete suggestion was in Vidyarthi Parishad. They had this alternative constitution in their camp. They introduced it, which promoted caste system, man woman inequality, and all those things. So I'm not going into detail. So that struggle of moderate versus uh, it, these fanatic Hindus is still going on, and we think that the end is coming very closer, and we should, our role should be very positive. And if it is the last incident, we think, of this Hindu versus Hindu was murder of Gandhi, and we should defeat the forces which are fanatic in nature. Thank you so much.